Yeah, that works.
Oh. Hello, hello.
Sure. Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is BobToad, and commentating with me is going to be Kronos, Linkus, and a Spectacor.
Yeah.
And let me just make sure everything's all good here. All set up.
Yep. Last in-person run of the night. Yeah, very late night. It's around 3 a.m. right now.
Oh yeah, it's been a late night. We've watched a lot of really impressive runs throughout the day, and we just watched Linkus absolutely destroy Wind Waker with about 30 different glitches I've never seen before. My mind is absolutely blown.
It's so wild, all the frame-perfect shenanigans that goes on in that
And you
game.
know, he's talking about how he has to do a frame-perfect glitch, and then he does it twice, and is like, got it, moving on, and then does the most insane thing I've ever seen right after that. It's just thing after thing after thing that took like 10 years to discover. It's a run with so much history, and it's so impressive.
Yeah, I love it. All right, I'm ready for countdown in 5 seconds. Five.
So I believe we'll just make sure it gets pulled up on screen here.
Oh,
so,
sure.
Okay, yeah, sure.
All right.
But yeah, if you want to like formally introduce yourself, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah. So I'm BobToad. I've ran this game a year and a half ago. It was Moist Critical's first $10,000 challenge, and I ended up getting a third in that challenge. It was like a 2-week period where everyone was just learning the game and discovering new tech because no one ran it before. And yeah, so that's what we'll be running today.
Yep. And I'll be commentating for him, and I'm Kronos. I'm the main organizer for all these Moist Critical speedrun challenges that have been going on. Currently, there's the 5th one for Another Crab's Treasure that's going on during this event, and we'll finish up today in around, how many? 14 hours or so? So
like
make
that.
sure,
Something like that.
get your submissions in for that if you want a part of that top $15,000 prize pool. So it's really cool.
Yeah, the biggest prize pool yet. The devs came in and added to it, so that's great.
Yeah, that's really sick.
Yeah, so let's get started with Amok Runner, the first game that started it all.
All right.
Was this really the first game out of all the challenges?
Well, yeah, the first speedrun challenge.
No, I forgot about this. This was like one of the ones I participated in most heavily. I'm a Spectacor. Linkus is going to be joining me in the couch as well from the last run. Very excited to be watching this because I spent a lot of time speedrunning this game, and I know there's a lot of really impressive skips. I think the physics in this game you lend themselves to some really goofy exploits that are so fun to watch as a spectator. Shout out to all the donations, by the way. Anonymous, thank you for the $10. Camelex, thank you for the 10. Cooper, thank you for the 10. Flora, thank you for the 10 as well.
Okay, I guess we're ready for a countdown whenever you're ready.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. I'm going to eat in the first 5 minutes. Everyone else, do a good job. I believe in you.
You got it.
Okay, BobToad?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And begin.
Yep, so starting off in the boat.
Yeah, so the thing about this game is that there are a lot of launches, which are the main trick of this game. And you use launches to skip different areas and go across the map throughout the game.
Another sleepless day begins.
And here we're just going to start out beginning and just talk to this guy on the bench over here real quick before we get started.
Day, isn't it? There is no place to sit here.
Yeah, the dialogue is very funny.
It's clunky and it is tough to sit through over and over. That's one of the hard things about this run, you know?
I think you wanted to sit alone.
Yeah, and I believe
because
the
when
main
you
thing
saw
about
me,
all of these
I
Moist
had the
Critical
feeling that
challenges,
you were
at
a
least the
bit
first 4
hesitant.
so far, were
Please, stay.
they're all focused on games
I'll
that were
leave.
pretty unpopular in terms of like
don't bother.
very unplayed.
Yes.
So basically at the time there was like 0 runners for Amok Runner.
Oh,
so
yeah.
basically everything was like brand new. All these tricks and stuff were found by the speedrunning community during the 2 weeks of the challenge, and even more even afterwards. So I believe we'll have a special surprise in one of these launches here.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because I'm only familiar with the strats as far as they go during the competition. And that was incredible to see it progress. I've never really been on the cutting edge of a speedrun before.
This town?
And coming up here is our first trick.
Good day, Doctor.
So
Forgive me for
BobToad's going to
popping
be
in
doing a
unannounced,
lineup here
but we were driving
to
by
skip
station
a
and we
bit
thought
of
we should
dialogue, I
inquire.
believe.
Lining
Let's
up between
continue
that
this
chair and that
conversation.
table, hey?
Yeah,
Still the same.
there's a nice little corner you can just run into if you just glide against the chair, and then you just put your head to the left of the doorknob, and you just wait for Linda to come up, and then
Keep on
walk through the
playing
door.
Ralph where he left off.
Classic Linda. She is, well, I don't know. I was about to say she's quite the lady, but if you're familiar with the story of this game, I think it's more like you're quite the guy. I don't really know if Linda did anything.
You live like a hermit.
Hey,
All right.
nice.
Success.
Congratulations. Yeah, nailing that first skip through the door with impeccable timing.
Yeah, so what you have to do there is just watch for Linda's feet to align, and it's somewhat precise. It's not super hard, but it's also pretty easy to miss, and it loses 10 seconds.
Absolutely.
And right here is the famous cock launch. So
Love
let's
a
see if
cock
we get
launch.
it.
The reason it's called that is because we go into this chicken coop, and we just run our bike into the fence. It's a pretty precise lineup here, actually. Let me just... Alright, then we just get out and open the map to slow time to get more speed. And... Oh, I'll restart.
Yeah, it's such a difficult lineup to get.
Yeah.
You're just trying to get the bike in the perfect position for this launch, and there's so many different pieces of grass that you could look at to line it up against. The texture is so dense.
Also,
Yeah.
if I don't misremember here, don't you also have to set the game to a certain frame rate to get these
Yeah.
launches to work properly?
If you look at the top left,
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
top left you can see, I believe BobToad's playing at 45 FPS right now.
Yeah.
That's great.
Each of the launches have different FPS values that you want, so you'll see them change quite a lot during the run. Oh, let's see.
oh, and
Nice.
that's an
Perfect.
incredible
Let's
launch
go.
right there.
What a
Perfect,
launch.
straight to the train station. It's so easy to go too far there, so that was really, really perfect.
Incredible launch.
Second try too.
Yeah.
Should have helped. I must catch up.
Yeah, there were many different ways to do that launch in the beginning. At first, we didn't even go to the chicken coop. There's a fisherman we went to, and that was way harder.
Yep.
And we didn't know what frame rate to go at either, so that also made it really hard.
She managed to flee the town just like
We also got a $10 donation from Greg. Thank you very much for staying up, saying, Linda, come back. I didn't mean to pass out in the burger shop drive-thru. Come back.
That is a deep cut. Thank you very much for the $10.
Yeah, thank you, Greg.
You're the wife of a big business.
Oh, there's more incredible voice acting here.
English of noble origin.
Yeah, so coming up, we're just going to skip a fight sequence here, actually, by just simply walking to the left of the trigger. There's no out of bounds or anything. You just go around it.
Yeah, it's just having the correct pathing to avoid what I assume is just like a big box place somewhere that initiates the cutscene.
So, BobToad, you played as a lot, obviously, as a speedrunner. I'm assuming you played this casually first before you learned the speedrun one time?
Somewhat casually, yeah. I mean, I started it, and I mean, like, no one knew how to speedrun it, so
Yeah.
I guess you could say, yeah, we all did
Yeah.
it casually.
Because I was going to ask, I feel like most people who play this game and picked it up during the speedrun challenge, most of them said that, unlike, certain games where you have to go out of your way to, experience a bit of a glitchy Yankee time, this game is just janky no matter if you're trying to break it or not. It's just doing its own thing.
Yeah. That was definitely my experience with my first playthrough. I was also really confused.
Yeah.
Like, what I gathered from it was that there was a woman named Linda,
Yeah.
and that I was on a boat 3 days later, and then other than that, I didn't really pick up. I'm sure there's like a metaphor for something going on.
Yeah, in fact, the title of the game, Amok Runner, is because there's citizens in the game that you end up fighting, which are all those enemies that you encounter in the game that have this disease of Amok disease, where basically it drives you insane and mad, which
Kinda
is
like a
why
rage
everyone's trying
virus
to
type
get on the ship
situation.
to leave.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so coming up right here, BobToad's going to attempt cone launch, which is a very cool trick. Involves using the car and parking on top of a traffic cone. And by doing that in such a way, you will be able to launch to the other side of a wall.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult to line up, and it's another trick that's super, super dependent on the frame rate. And another thing I got to point out here is the driving is unbelievably jank, okay? He's making it look really smooth, but you can drive like a little bit to the right on this corner here, and your car will just stop.
I
so
think
it's,
this is just a skill issue. Clearly, look,
it sounds like cope.
Okay?
It sounds like cope, but it's.
Right.
I'm actually very impressed by the smooth driving here.
Okay.
And here comes the cone launch.
Here we go.
Just gotta go real slow to activate it, and then 10 seconds after. All right, at 11 is when I activated it. So at 21, I'm gonna open the map. I might have opened it a little early. Oh, there we go.
So that we go launching in the air,
Yeah.
and hopefully we land at the mansion.
That was a lot of height, but that was not
Unfortunate.
much horizontal distance.
Yeah, we'll try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is super difficult to calibrate, but basically what's happening is when you're opening the map, as far as I understand, you're slowing the game down and you're causing far more physics interactions to happen per second in real time.
Yeah.
And so, you don't collide with the cone, and on the 10th second when you do collide, you launch that car really high. And it's really incredible tech that they've taken to a relatively consistent place. Like boosting over this wall is remarkably consistent for how crazy the tech is.
Yeah, it is super precise. Back when I was doing the challenge, I would just have like a picture of the exact spot that I would be lined up with, because there's not much to go off of. You just have the road, and it's kind of hard to find a visual cue, but yeah.
And while we're driving back, I gotta say, Anonymous dropped a $79 donation, pushing us over $126,000.
Let's go.
Incredible job, everybody at home. Thank you, everybody, so much for
Thank you for the
donating
donations. Yeah,
for an
thank you.
incredible cause. We still have a lot of ways to go. Fast50, 50 hours. We're probably at something in the 30s, I think now.
Yeah, Linus doesn't even know.
Yeah, so I mean, we got all day tonight / morning, and then we got like more than half of tomorrow. It's a full day.
A lot of runs coming up.
Plenty of amazing runs.
And a lot of run coming up left in this one, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It just gets ridiculous,
For
and it
sure.
continues to get crazier throughout.
And this time, we're gonna get it. So it's all...
Yeah, praise, pause champ.
Oh.
Maybe.
It looks like you could make it over.
Ooh, okay.
We got it?
We did not make it over. So
Yeah.
you can still drive over, but it takes too much time. It can take like 30 seconds to a minute, because you have to get stuck first, and then you can like shimmy your way over the edge.
Right, because it's really important that your car like ends up at the bottom, I think, in order for your loads to work. Because as far as I understand it, you're gonna get close to there and then reload a save or something like that. It's been a while since I've done this.
Yeah, and then you kind of want to keep the car for another launch as well afterwards.
Right. We basically turn this car into like a spaceship using a bunch of like cones and planks. Basically, whatever's around us, this car interacts with in a strange way. I can't remember if you can run into people, but I do know if you run into a pole or a car, like this thing stops dead. Maybe it was a skill issue, because BobToad is just bobbing and weaving through
As
the
I'm
traffic.
saying, he's not having a problem, and this is the third time we've been doing this drive with
He's
zero issues. So I think if it was a
Oh my
systemic
God,
issue,
he's
we would have
flexing
seen it
on me
at this
with the road.
point.
What are you doing?
Driving in the grass.
It's actually, I'm telling you, people, it is so much harder than it looks to turn this thing. Even it feels like you're driving like.
Can we get a copium in the chat? All right, so what are we doing right here, BobToad?
So here, we're just going to do the crane puzzle. This is what you skip with cone launch. It's about like a 50-second to a minute segment. And this is actually what lets you get in and out of the house, because if you do cone launch, you can't leave the house unless you launch out, and there's no guarantee you're getting out of there.
That's true.
Makes sense.
And I, as far as I remember, this puzzle is the same every time, so you can kind of get used to how you solve it. And now, I think all the puzzles in this game are the same every time,
Yep.
but not all of them are this straightforward.
Yeah,
some of them
they're-
require some real memorization and like
Yeah.
code interpretation, right?
It's pretty insane because, like, I believe some puzzles, like, there's one puzzle where you have the family portraits and everything.
Oh
and
my.
you have to, like, figure out who's who, and, like, it's impossible to tell.
Yeah, they all look the same. I think even with a guide, I was struggling to figure that one out at first. And then there's also one coming up here soon where you spin a bunch of things or line up symbols. And it really impressed me how quickly people were able to menu. Like, it showed me that people were really on another level there, because menuing isn't really something I'm familiar and have practice with.
Yeah.
Like, it's a whole other skill set.
Yeah, like, before all these launches were found, menuing was the most important skill. So optimizing all your menu inputs was so crucial in the run.
For sure.
And runs were, like, within seconds of each other.
You know what I'm hearing when you say that? Any RPG speedrunner previously had a huge advantage for the first few days.
For sure. You can see BobToad reloading that checkpoint or like hitting a quick restart.
Is there a reason?
It's so that you don't have to walk far. So you saw it right there.
Yeah.
BobToad just destroyed that puzzle. Like actually ate it for breakfast. He looked at a bunch of numbers on the wall that have hidden codes in them. And for me, I would be staring at that like an old person when you try and tell them to print to PDF.
Whoa.
And he just looked at that for 0.25 seconds and decoded it. That was incredibly impressive.
Yeah. So I remember here. So if I remember correctly, we're going to get attacked here, right?
Yeah,
Can
this
someone
part, dude.
explain to us here what the idea with this sequence is of getting attacked? Do you guys know why we're just randomly getting attacked with this random dude with a machete?
Yeah, he has the Amok disease.
He's got the
He's
Amok
okay.
disease,
going
man.
crazy. He's trying
running
to kill
amok.
you.
Is that it? That's the explanation.
Yeah, that's
okay.
they have a disease that makes them
Okay.
very angry.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
for some reason they
how
come
does
after
this
you.
work for the speedrun? Is it consistent to get through this with the patterns, or is it RNG based with how they're moving around?
Yeah, this is
completely
consistent.
consistent. You just sit in this corner and just watch the rats run around the walls, pretty much.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
crazy consistent because especially if you're coming from like Hitman or something like that, you're feeling like they're gonna look at you, but they're just kind of hanging out. Although I did notice that if you move out of this corner, like they will spot you.
Yeah.
It's strange. You're waiting for the stairs to come down as if you couldn't step up like a literal.
So if you're playing this casually, you can't like fight them back. You'd have to just kind of run circles, trying not to get hit until the stairs down.
I think so.
Yeah, you don't have
Oh,
a weapon
wow.
right
Oh,
now.
okay.
So
Gotcha. Okay, well, while we're waiting for that stairs to come down, thank you, Lord, for the $5 donation saying love charity and love the event. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you.
Thank you for the donuts. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, I think we're coming up to the infamous portrait puzzle. And if you know the inputs, you can just swap them around, but I really struggled to figure this one out at first.
You don't see, obviously that guy is supposed to be in the top left with that woman because
Right?
they're married.
Of course.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Wow. No, that was fantastically done. That's like perfectly optimal on that puzzle. And now you're moving to get your gun or something?
Yeah, you're just getting the key to get out, and then you're going to get the gun, and there'll be the first fight of the game right after.
So, BobToad, as a speedrunner of a game like this, when you're doing those inputs, do you just visually remember where to go, or have you just memorized like the button inputs to move the paintings around?
I've just memorized the inputs.
Okay. Whoa! Whoa! What is happening? What?
That was
we get a
fantastic
slow mo,
combat.
Such a
two
fast
headshots.
That was a really, really good combat because the combat in this game is, you know, he's making it look way easier than it is. Similar to the driving, but even less cope. I can attest to
I
that.
remember watching his competition live, and I don't think I ever saw a single stream of that quick of a fight.
Yeah.
Those fights, to my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, are terrible.
yeah, they are.
You need to
Enemies
hit
can bob and
headshots
weave
most of the time.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And now here, this is mansion launch, so dropping down to
Oh.
18 FPS, and hopefully we get it.
Oh, well,
Oh,
that's
this
one
is
type
a
of
launch.
launch, but you need to get all the way across the map, and that was not.
Yeah,
what we wanted.
This one was another big make or break one
yeah.
for the run later in the competition. It became one that you absolutely had to hit if you wanted to have a chance.
Yeah.
And I
this
really
was-
struggled with this.
Yeah,
one.
this was the launch that basically determined whether or not you had a run. So, like, I believe 90% of runs or something just died to just
For sure.
failing this launch.
And to my understanding, these tricks are so precise that it almost feels luck-based to a certain extent when you get the setups down. Like,
Yeah.
even if you have the same setup down, it will just never be 100%.
That is true because Ouija, I used a practice tool, I remember, and went to the exact same coordinates, and out of like 5 times, only launched once, I believe, or maybe 10 times.
Oh, so it actually straight up is luck. It's not
Yeah.
just it feels like it. Oh, wow, okay.
And like, you know, even if you were somehow able to find a precise position, this trick is so precise that it really does feel like it would be luck. Like sometimes you would. That's one of the things that makes it so frustrating. Is you look at a setup and it launches you across the map. You get the exact same thing and it goes nowhere. And of course, as you know, having a random chance killer run can just be so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I do think that when it goes well, it's one of my favorite launches in the game. And I think the planks lend themselves to being a really great lineup. Because there's a tire right there, you can gauge how far you're set up, but it's really tough.
Oh, there's
this
some
looks
forward
good.
speed?
Definitely has some potential. You know, you see how the FOV will zoom out. That will continue to happen to you to the point where the game will actually flip itself upside down. Now, not gonna lie, that was a pretty solid launch.
Yeah, so it would still be pretty slow to run over there. That was about halfway across, honestly.
Oh, so we still not gonna run that. We're gonna just keep up.
Yeah, because you're able to launch yourself directly to the next trigger for the next
Got it,
area, and it feels like when I did it, it feels like you are going to launch yourself off the map into space because your FOV zooms out so far that you zoom upside down.
It actually does flip the camera. Yeah, that's great. Only Unity games or not Unity, Unreal, I think, is what this engine is. Does that? Yeah. I'm gonna try this 2 more times, then we'll just drive on over to the mansion.
You know,
At least the one nice thing about this, I will say, in terms of like a marathon perspective, no reset run, is that this is the most precise launch, to my understanding, but it is also the fastest reload because it's really only about 10 seconds to set it back up at the very least.
It is great that there's like you can have a couple tries at it, but I think in the world record during the competition, it was you drive up to this, you get out, and you send Dr. Amok or whatever the heck his name is all the way across the map almost instantly. And you get a ton of height sometimes, and that's not really what you want. You want to be sent across kind of like a bullet straight there.
So, BobToad, when you're doing this and the car gets launched instead of you, is that a mispositioning or is that also luck-based?
It can depend on. It depends on how it gets launched. I know for sure that it is just random. But like that was random because if you see the car tilt to the side rather than like just completely behind you or in front of you, then
What if you
that
did it
means
one more
it's-
time? I believe in
last
this
one.
attempt.
Come on,
Last
one more
attempt.
attempt. We got
I
this.
believe.
Come on. I believe at home. Come on, get some prages in the chat. Frank or Z's,
Yes.
whatever is your favorite hype
I will say
emote. We
BobToad
got
is killing this lineup because normally when I do this lineup, I just come to a dead stop, like directly into the planks. And he set it up pretty much perfectly every time now.
I'm feeling this one.
It is so
That was
challenging
the
to
right
get
spot.
that. And you also have to, like, BobToad is not only lining it up perfectly, getting out, he's also you're hitting a button to turn the FPS to 10, is it?
18.
Or 18, yeah.
18, of course. Of
Yeah,
course.
every runner has like
Yeah.
different FPS values. Like
Yeah.
I know some people use 20. So
Yeah, it's
one-
almost like a superstition, right? Like which one it is.
The one really nice thing. How long is the drive to the mansion now? We're not doing the launch.
About 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Okay,
yeah.
one thing that is very nice is we're going to get 2 minutes and we're going to see on this long drive, is it the car or is it the runner?
Okay.
I feel like
yeah.
this will really just kind of be the deciding factor.
Listen, I can just
How
say
it works,
right
yeah.
here, you are not only going to see on this drive whether it's the car or the runner, and right away the route is different than I remember. This is way... Okay, so right there,
Oh, I was trying to. So you can. So all these objects, all the fences, you need to use the map to go through
Yeah.
without bonking.
Oh,
and that
okay.
mailbox, you can just clip it to the side, but I barely just hit it directly on instead.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of inconsistent because sometimes it can just drive through the fences without even stopping.
Yeah,
So-
then you feel foolish when you try to drive through the edge and it stops you dead in your tracks and you're on a good run. So it's like
Yeah.
it does kind of feel like a gamble, but by using the map, you really can make it much more consistent, which is pretty cool.
And when it comes to the car, is there any like kind of stamina health system? Can the car break at all, or just like nah?
No, it's invincible, so...
Nice. That's good at least.
Yeah, the car can get damaged, but I don't believe it changes the hitbox. I don't actually know for
I can't
sure.
remember. I do remember that there is, I believe we're going to get treated to a chase sequence later, and it's some pretty precise driving, at least the route I remember.
Yeah, I remember when people were trying it for the challenge, like the police chase was one of the hardest things in the
For
run.
sure.
Because people were figuring out like, okay, so I can drive like this specific path, but then they tried to optimize it, and then when you drive out of bounds, they'll just kill you instantly.
Yes,
so
exactly.
It's very difficult
So we got another
sometimes.
combat sequence coming up here, and you're going to see that it is really challenging to get headshots, but
He's a gamer.
yeah.
He's a
It appears
gamer.
he's ready to game out of his mind. on
Is
these
there
people.
unlimited ammo here?
There
yes.
is, but the
Oh no.
reloads are...
Wait, can you die?
You can, but I mean, it's hard to, honestly. I feel like. Oh, imagine
no.
I die, though?
Oh, headshot. One more. Yeah, that's what I'm
Absolutely
talking
incredible.
about.
Now, there's another puzzle coming up here. It's like a little planetarium puzzle thingy. I think it's fairly simple, but we'll see.
All right, chat, let's be the judge of this. Is it simple? Let's see here.
All in line.
Oh, this is like the puzzle in Skyward Sword. Have any of you guys played Skyward Sword? Okay. Anyways, let's just move past. It's not that good of a Zelda game anyways. Let's just move past it.
All right. So in this mansion, what do you have to do? I forget, Bob.
There is a Morse code puzzle, actually. And so I have a key pulled up on another laptop next to me just to decode the shorts and longs, because it's a 3-number combination to open the safe.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and since you're not like a 98-year-old war veteran, you're not intimately familiar with Morse code. At least I wasn't. So
Yeah.
I also had to have a guide pulled up at all times. But
4. 1. 4, 1, 9.
I know,
That's a pretty
man.
good pattern, actually. So we do want to try to minimize the amount of
I guess
spaces we travel here,
the password on the radio.
and that was pretty quick because we can go across the whole.
right, is it a random
dial
number
each
every time?
Yep,
Yeah.
that one's random.
There's not all 999 combinations. There's only like half for some reason.
Right.
Might be
Yeah, who knows why, but
That made total sense, and I totally understand that. Just like Anonymous, who has dropped $84 saying easy. Even chat thinks it's easy.
God damn. Thank you, Anonymous. Thank you
Thank
for the
you.
donations. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Is this rope glitched?
Okay.
Was it going?
No,
What
this,
is happening?
this is actually one of the most strange, like,
What?
physics setups I've ever seen to try and open a door.
Wait, so is this the way it's intended to be done casually?
Yep.
Yes.
What? But the rope's clipping through objects.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't the most intuitive puzzle for me to solve.
Okay.
I figured like opening a window would make more sense.
Yeah.
So if you're confused as to what's happening story-wise,
Come with me. Hurry.
this guy wants you to come with him, and they have to hurry, and you can't tell anybody.
Please.
Okay.
He doesn't want you to ask questions, and he just wants you to get in the car, or else it might be too late.
I feel like this guy is evil.
No, he's chill. I think we might have skipped some dialogue that would explain what's going on up to this point. I'm not really sure. We might have just done a breaking and entering on that mansion now that I
I
think
have
back
one
to it.
important story question. Obviously, there's too much to explain for a speedrun, but you're telling me that there's a disease Amok, people get mad.
Yep.
Is he immune to Amok, or is it just plot armor?
No, he's, I believe he's getting it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
doctor.
Oh my!
though.
You're not about to
slowly
do
getting-
what
so
I think.
this
you're
is-
What
about
is
to do.
happening?
Launch that was discovered
What?
very, very, very late into the
Yeah, I
competition.
remember this.
Basically, this is Chinatown launch.
I've been looking for you.
So
Okay.
basically, this launch was discovered super late into the competition that no one did it.
Yeah.
Because it was like very difficult. But
Including the world record of the
yeah,
competition.
the world record
wow,
does not
okay.
do it.
What's happening here?
So if anyone wants the world record, this is your chance. Just
Yeah, this
do
is
it
what
with
you
the
would have to
launch.
do, because otherwise you have to drive to Chinatown,
Wait,
which
has
takes like
there
a
not
minute
been
or
a
two.
newer record since the competition?
Yeah, I
No, there
believe
has
so.
not.
I guess to be fair, people took that game so seriously for that 1-2 weeks, whatever it was, that
No, I think they needed a sabbatical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think about playing this, and I'm like, not yet, Amok Runner, not yet. One day, my sweet.
Yeah, so I just gave that one shot just because that is actually more precise than Mansion Launch
I
and
believe it.
less likely. So
It is a really goofy skip, but I had trouble with all of those. This fence right here, you steered on that angle to try and break through at full speed, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
for some reason, you just need that kind of angle to break through. Who knows why? But
Yeah, story-wise, the boy is explaining that like the lady Linda who came to see you is like she's all like sick or whatever. Probably like I think the Dr. Amok is probably gonna prescribe something for hysteria by the vibe of this dude. But this drive along here is pretty chill for the most part. I think there's a couple places where you do some pretty sketchy maneuvers to save time, but
So you said
overall,
there
it's
was a
kinda nice.
chase. I'm assuming this is not the one.
no.
You'll know when it comes.
Yeah, you'll
There's a
definitely
lot
know
of
when
police
you'll hear
sirens
some
and
sirens.
stuff.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So is this game?
Oh God, this bridge! Oh my God, you have no idea if you haven't driven that. I have so much trauma. Like that just made me clutch the couch in anticipation.
It is
Because
incredible how much skill issue there is on this couch right now.
BobToad, can you back me up? That bridge is no joke, right?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh
Yeah,
my God, I thought you were about to do it to me, man. It's so hard. You have to tap so lightly. Like the steering, it's not Forza 5.
Let's do a little test here. If you think that is easy, $1 donation for charity. Everyone
okay.
who donates $1
That's true.
confirms
Listen,
that
if
this
you're
is an
in the
easy
chat
trick and he's
you
having a
play
skill
Amok
issue.
Runner regularly
Yeah.
and you do hit that bridge 100%, I would love for you to drop a dono in the chat and let me know.
Yeah.
Now we're in Chinatown to try and save Linda. I can't remember if there's any interesting speedrunning tech happening here.
We just have a puzzle, and then we have in my opinion, the second hardest fight, the hardest one being the boss at the end. Just since the enemies come pretty quickly at you and you can't miss, otherwise you have to reload and your gun and it'll just take a lot of
So
time.
that's the one thing I've remembered about combat in this game is when you reload, it really throws a wrench into your plans.
Gotcha. That was
Yep.
confusing.
I'm not, honestly, I don't even remember how you solved that puzzle, but I do know that that was about the fastest way that you could do it.
Over there.
I'm gonna be honest. I almost wish you had like a hand cam because he's tapping. All right, let's see. Can we get a headshot? Can we get? Is it that hitbox bad? I
So
swear
that's
it's on the head.
No, so that's the thing. It was a headshot, but you actually didn't get the head explosion thing. So
Oh,
by
okay.
shooting him in the shoulder there, I actually think he saves a little tiny bit of time on that last shot because when
Yeah.
it slows down and you get the headshot, it goes black and white and it's like a little tiny bit slower. But
By the way, can you read the name of this donation here?
skill issue. Thank you so much for the
$1.
$1 donation.
S a mega lol bad. So
Bridge
bad.
is light work. Ducker, thank you for the 10 easy bridge.
is light work. $1 Ducker 10 easy bridge. Falaroni $1 easy clap.
All right,
It
chat,
is.
I see.
Oh.
There's a lot of Amok Runners in the chat tonight.
Absolutely.
So you had to look for a key code combination that was hidden amongst, like there was numbers hidden amongst the...
Yep, it's in the scenery around, so he looked for them, and I believe he has the combination, solves it,
to hurry.
and we're going to get
She's
the
dying.
medicine to her because she's dying.
Right.
We have
and
to
this
be in time.
and this saves
Oh, no.
Amok. This,
Well, okay.
this cures of aim. No.
No!
Linda!
Now I understand why you go for the car launches because the
Yeah.
drive is too long.
I know, right? If we would have hit Chinatown, Skip, I think we could have saved Linda, but now we have to, like, I'm not gonna lie, are we getting revenge? I can't even remember.
So is that the end of the game? No. Is this not the game end? No? Oh wait, sorry, I forgot we have a chase too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you thought it was over, huh? I'm gonna be honest. I thought this is when it was over. But this is when the real Kino begins.
Are we having technical issues?
No.
No,
No.
it's the one of the
So-
longest white screens.
Also, the music playing there actually loses 10 seconds, but the music's really cool. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, because it was just
I know that I've kept you
widescreen.
waiting, Doctor. I'm not going to ask for your forgiveness for it.
All right, so now we're gonna run to our car and try to get out of here because the police are after us with Amok, and we need to get on the ship.
Oh, so even the police have the disease.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Oh, it's
you
not.
also...
It's not because you did the crime by not saving her.
No,
Yeah.
actually, I mean,
I think it might have been a crime to save her, probably. You know,
Okay.
just like actually listening to her about her symptoms instead of just being like, whatever. I
I'm
think it's like
loving this
1800s.
run. Like the story and the lore is like really cool.
It goes deep.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. I've learned a lot about Linda, and
Yeah.
the way that he says it will be permanently seared into my brain, whether that's a good or a bad
I would
thing.
love to watch you, BobToad, go for world record after this.
yeah, I was actually planning on doing a gauntlet of
Oh.
the first 3 Moist Challenge games.
I think
Awesome.
that'd
That
be
would
really
be
fun
sick.
because like this game, I think this game, if you were hanging out
Yeah.
and not like under time crunch,
Mm-hmm.
and we're able to grind for a world record, could be a lot of fun because the
Yeah.
launches are really, really, really cool. From
Yeah.
cockskip
Uh-huh.
to pylon launch or whatever you want to call it into
Yeah.
the mansion, and those planks out are genuinely some of my favorite glitches in gaming. So here you came back to grab a ticket to the boat, right?
Yep.
Yes, and so now we just gotta actually. The police are gonna be glued to our back of the car, and we cannot let ourselves lose any speed. Otherwise, they will shoot us for some reason.
Yep.
Oh
And we
my
have to
goodness!
drive-
And right off the bat, you're gonna go so close to those spikes.
So here you can actually just drive through that one set of spikes.
because you're not supposed to be over there. You can drive through the set of spikes, but don't get it twisted. Don't just think that you're allowed to go wherever
Yeah.
you want. If you go the tiniest bit off of this path that they've tested rigorously, you reset, and you can lose so much time. Like if it happens near the end of the chase, they're like, "Sorry, Bucko."
Wait,
Oh,
so what happens if we slow down here? We get captured, I'm assuming?
No,
You'll
you
just
get shot
and then
and
you have to
die.
restart the whole
then-
sequence.
Oh, wow.
And when you go through that fence there, if
Yeah.
you don't pull off that menu trick perfectly,
Okay.
you die. If you go through those metal things and you just happen to get smited by the fate of like God, you die. If you go through this wrong, like
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
looked at someone wrong that morning and fate decides you can't do it,
So
you
this
die.
isn't just a speedrun thing. Even casually, this would be bad.
Yes. It-
Genuinely, like I died on this over and over casually.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it was super difficult.
Oh, so right there you can see Bob drives all the way on the left side over those spikes, but it doesn't matter by the end of it, so you're able to save a bit of time even though the cops are looking at you
So,
right there.
Bob, we didn't go to a boat. We went to a graveyard, it looks like here, cemetery. What is happening here? What are you doing?
We're trying to
So
escape. Yeah.
we still the graveyard, I guess, is the only way to get to the boat for some reason. So
Is this the cops?
yes,
they're shooting.
Oh, okay, cool, okay.
It's very Scooby-Doo. But yeah, I remember from here, you're just trying to stay behind things so that they don't shoot you and slow you down.
Yeah.
And really precise pathing in certain areas because I think you can get stuck pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's not like they did a ton of play testing on the movement in some of these
Did you
areas.
shoot the cop to slow them down, or is it just run and don't get stuck?
I don't
Just
even
run.
think you have the freedom to pull out your gun when you want.
Wait,
now that
yeah.
right there.
what just happened there? How did he run through that tree?
So the devs just kind of forgot about collision for
Oh.
that tree, and
So it's not even a glitch.
But running
Like,
through
it's
there
not
is-
something you're
can't
performing.
you fail that, Bob, and get stuck?
yeah. So there's like
Yeah.
a little green part that I have to run up behind. Otherwise, you'll just fall kind of and trigger the cutscene that loses about 15 seconds or so.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So now,
exactly.
are we still out of bounds, or do we just go to a next area of the cemetery?
You're just a little fast, I think, right?
Yeah, we're just going to the next area without the cutscene.
Okay.
and This is the boss fight. We're just reloading checkpoints.
Oh,
Save
boy.
some time.
Okay, I'm excited to see this boss fight. Wait.
Oh, impeccable dodge. I think that's basically what you have to focus on is headshots and dodging those cleavers.
Is it insta-kill if it hits you?
No, you take
no.
a lot of damage.
Yeah, and I think it like kind of stops your reload sometimes too.
Yeah, so it takes exactly 25 headshots to kill him. and you want them to get close to you so that you won't have the slow kill animation where it fades to black and white. And then we got it.
Nice,
Nice,
beautiful. Good
well
job,
done.
BobToad.
Yeah, this ending part of the run has actually been going really smoothly. Now here, Bob is going to try and pull off a camera trick.
So that's headache skip.
Oh.
We just skip
What?
holding our head, having a headache, and we're kind of losing our mind a little bit here.
Yeah,
Because we have Amok.
yeah. Normally,
presumably.
normally you'd lose control of your character and be stuck there, but Bob just saved actually a considerable chunk of time by being able to walk forward.
Oh,
Normally
it is
you end up
almost
stuck like
dizzy. Like I almost feel dizzy watching this scene.
Yeah, it's also the sound too. Really easy to just get hit by a car and I think die.
But getting hit by a car can also save 10 seconds if you go down to 2 FPS before you get hit.
Oh
you'll
my
get washed.
gosh! I remember when that was a consideration.
Yeah, that was found pretty late into the challenge, the last few days, and no one actually did it just because it's so random for the car to hit you. It's pretty unlikely.
Also, before we get on the boat and you got to explain anything, thank you, Ballad Fox, for the $1 saying, can't wait to contribute every year. And I'm so happy to say Amok Runner of all games.
Yeah.
Give me
An actual fan.
Apologies.
I have to go. I have to go now.
What?
So now we are in sort of an epilogue, but the speed run is not over. There's something that you have to do. You have to remind me, BobToad.
So we just have to. So we would normally put the valve. We need this valve to put it back into its spot on the ship to go through a gas spot, and here we just have a little trip through a hospital that we got to get through. It's kind of just like an auto scroller. You could just follow the path.
This is kind of like creepy.
It's spooky.
Is this game supposed to be a little bit spooky horror?
A little bit.
I'm not sure what this game is supposed to be, but it's something. It's a game, and it's as a speed game, pretty special and cool to me. I think it's one of my favorites.
So, BobToad, for this last part, is there any other tricks we got to watch out for? Anything special, or this is kind of it?
Here we have Moist Skip, the trick that Moist Critical found before he chose this game to be for his challenge, and there was theorized that you could skip the entire game by doing this trick at the beginning of the run when you were on the ship originally. But unfortunately, the devs thought of that, and you cannot.
But it's still going to be used now to save time in this last section?
Yes.
Okay, so what is... Okay, so let's see here.
So here we got to just run into this corner and just hope that we get on the staircase. It's kind of random.
Yeah, you see how you start to kind of
it's like the game doesn't know where to put you.
Oh.
Look
at that
there we go.
movement. So getting on top of that railing there by doing that little 360 is tricky because you can just fall right off.
Gotcha. Okay, so now we're going here. Is this just saving time on movement?
Yeah,
or?
it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it saves about 4 seconds in total.
Her husband.
Gotcha, okay.
And time will be very shortly once we push this coffin into the water.
In about a few seconds here. And the camera's going to zoom in. That's time.
Wow.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Very good run.
Yeah, that was actually
awesome.
fantastic.
Incredible run, BobToad.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. This is an amazing cause that we're running for here, and I'm just glad this event's being hosted. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Of
Tell
course.
people where to find you for sure. Show yourself out and stuff.
Yeah, sure. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at BobToad, and I will be doing a sort of triathlon run of the first 3 Moist games. Once I get back from Pace, another speedrun event after this one. And that's a whole week of its own on speedrun at Twitch.
Right.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you so much, BobToad, for that incredible run. Once again, everybody at home, I hope you guys enjoyed. That was awesome. All right.
So I believe up next is Titanfall 2, which will be online.
Yes.
So it's not a Moist Critical challenge game, but that'll be coming up shortly, and then followed up with another few Moist Critical challenge games, which are Exodus from the Earth, The Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard,
boy,
and Escape from Lavender Island. So
oh my goodness,
awesome.
back to back.
So all of those will be all remote. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, are we going to cut to a short break and then head over to the Oh, okay.
Great. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
All right.
Well,
Everybody at home, thank you so much for all the donations,
Yeah.
and keep on watching because there's a lot of great games coming your way.
absolutely, yeah.
I was
Yeah, I'm gonna give you this laptop because I really need to sleep. I finished a long
Okay.
run, so
for sure.
I am gonna head.
I'm gonna end up
over.
carpooling with you, Linkus.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Okay.
good. Yeah. But either way, enjoy the rest of the run. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. So I've been up since 9 in the morning as well. So
Yeah, God, you
Oh,
must be
boy.
so tired. Yeah, my run ended up being pretty late last night, so I only ended up catching a couple cat naps, and there's just been so many ridiculously entertaining runs that I wanted to be a part of. Like, not to butter up Linkus, but I hadn't seen a lot of that run, and I was kind of having my mind blown every 5 minutes. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's like a shame that we can't just stay up the entire 50 hours.
I
because
know. I'm a little bit
really
annoyed
want
with the
to-
limitations of my human body because I'm like, really, it feels like I'm sacrificing to get any sleep at all.
Yeah, like this Titanfall 2 run coming up, it's like the best run. Like, in my opinion, it's one of the definitions of if you want to see a speedrun, Titanfall 2 is one of the greatest.
I would absolutely agree. As someone who's only seen bits and pieces of that run, the movement is, not only is it so smooth, but it's so clearly impressive. It's very, very challenging on the face of it. There's some runs that it takes a long time of playing to really appreciate how good it is. But I think you can see people zooming around in Titanfall and immediately figure out that they're cracked gamers. So.
Yeah,
For sure.
super cool.
So have you been practicing like Amok Runner in your off time before this? Like, was this something that you were kind of working on after Moist, or?
For the last week or so, yeah, it was a little bit last minute for me, but yeah, I mean, I've just been practicing offline mostly, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I think it's a really incredible game because I really don't have any interest in it in the game of itself, but I think it's probably one of my favorite speed games. Like, it just happens to have the perfect physics to set up for some really, really cool launches. And I remember the week of the competition, there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of consideration as to what things might get used, and it was kind of cool to see that like Chinatown Skip had a real chance of ending up in the run. It just didn't happen to make it.
Yeah, and that's the thing about all these Moist Critical Challenge games is, like, all the tricks and glitches get found by the community, and you can see a speedrun evolve in real time, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, it's not often that you get to be a part of that moment, right? Like, a lot of speedrun communities have been around for so long, and unless you start your own, you're not really going to get to have a chance to be a part of new runs that are developing. Whereas, yeah, these Moist competitions give you a chance to do stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, so it's like heaven for all these trick finders, trick hunters. Like, yeah,